Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. I am Shelby of Shelby and the Book Club, and in today's video we're going to talk all things June book releases. So if you want to know about all the books coming out in June, here you go. So every month at the first of the month, I will be releasing a video just like this one where we talk about the releases for that month. Just some housekeeping before we get started. Remember that if you do go on the website and order any of these books and they don't come out until the end of the month, or maybe not in the first week of the month, remember that it may take a little while for you to receive your book. Okay, so just keep that in mind because it still is considered a pre-order. Not that anyone's giving me any issues, just a heads up that you'll get it on the release day opposed to a few days after you order. Okay, second, everything will be linked down below. If there is something that is not linked, just let me know. Just put it in the comment what you're looking for, or shoot me an email and I can find it for you. Two, all of these books are by Black authors, because that is what I promote here. I'm all about diversifying reading. I know how hard it is for Black authors to get their work out there. So a part of what I do, a part of why I do what I do, is to get Black, brown, and authors of color the love and recognition that they deserve. Because it is hard, and it's still kind of hard to find Black and brown authors even in the year of our Lord 2022. When you go in stores, big box stores, even some indie bookstores, it's still like, where's the diversity? You know, where's the diversity? So if you're looking for anything other than that, you won't see it in this video, but you may still find it on my website. Get it? Got it? Okay, good. So as y'all know how these videos go, I got my handy dandy iPad here. Yes, I said iPad. If you know, you know. And we will just start going through the books. I will have the picture of the book here and the release date right below it. So you have all the information that you need. And like I said, all of these books will be linked in the underneath bar for you guys to click on and subscribe. So here we go. First up, we have Now Leela Knows by Elizabeth Nunez. Y'all know how I feel about a Black woman or a woman of color being on a book cover. I'm going to get it. Don't even really care what the book is about. I believe this one is a thriller. So the synopsis says, Leela Bonnard has left her island home in the Caribbean to join the faculty at as a visiting professor at Mayfield College in a small Vermont town. On her way from the airport to Mayfield, Leela witnesses a fatal shooting of a Black man by the police. My worst nightmare. It turns out that the victim was a professor at Mayfield and was giving CPR to a white woman who was on the verge of an opioid overdose. The two Black faculty and a Black administrator in the otherwise all-white college expect Leela to be a witness in the case against the police. Unfortunately, Leela fears that in the current hostile political climate against immigrants of color, she may jeopardize her position at the college by speaking out, and her fiance advises her to remain neutral. Now Leela Knows is a gripping story that explores our obligation to act when confronted with the unfair treatment of fellow human beings. Wasn't I just saying to y'all in the review of A Woman of Endurance that we should be talking more about what women go through today? And this book is a perfect example of that. I could not imagine. And then, like, now I have questions, because who is her fiance? And please don't tell me that it's a white man telling her to be neutral. It could be a Black man though, because you know how they do. You know how they do sometimes. I love y'all. I'm y'all number one fan. I think y'all the finest thing God ever made since a slice of white bread, okay? But y'all be front ways or backwards sometimes. Okay, next up we have Night Crawling, which I've been seeing on the internet a lot. This one is by Leela Motley. And it says, Kira and her brother, Kiara, and her brother Marcus are scraping by in an East Oakland apartment complex, optimistically called the Regal High. Both have dropped out of high school, their family fractured by death in prison. But while Marcus clings to his dream of rap stardom, sir please, Kiara hunts for work to pay their rent, which has more than doubled, and to keep a 9-year-old boy next door abandoned by his mother safe and fed. That's so sad. One night, what begins as a drunken misunderstanding with a stranger turns into the job Kiara never imagined wanting, but now desperately needs: night crawling. Her world breaks open even further when her name surfaces in an investigation that exposes her as a key witness in the massive scandal within the Oakland Police Department. Rich with raw beauty, electrifying intensity, and piercing vulnerability, Nightcrawling marks the stunning arrival of a voice unlike one we have heard before. What is Nightcrawling? Is she like I got to have that one. Again, question. So is she like a criminal's assistant? Or like, is she... What is happening here? Okay, next we have God's Children Are Little Broken Things. Now, I usually don't go for short stories. I think you guys know that about me by now. But this one sounds really interesting, and it's by Aranj Effiakandu. I tried. So it says, a man revisits the university campus where he lost his first love, aware now of what he couldn't understand then. A young musician rises to fame at the price of pieces of himself and the man who loves him. Aranj Effiakandu explores the tenderness and the grace the fundamental question of the heart. Can deep love and hope be sustained in spite of the dominant expectations of society and great adversity? That sounds interesting. That sounds very interesting. Now, next, we have Greenland. Look at this book cover. It is art. I love when book covers are very, very artistic, because then I want to display them. I want to put them up everywhere because it's so beautiful. So this is Greenland by David Santos Donaldson. And first thing that got me, it says a dazzling debut novel within a novel in the vein of The Prophets and Memorial. Now, I did not enjoy Memorial, but The Prophets, y'all know how I feel about The Prophets. It says about a young author writing about the secret love affair between E.M. Forster and Muhammad El Adel, in which Muhammad's stories collide with his own, bleeding fact and fiction. So in 1919, Muhammad, the young Egyptian lover of a British author, E.M. Forster, spent 6 months in a jail cell. A century later, Kip Starling has locked himself in his Brooklyn basement study with a pistol and 21 gallons of Poland Spring to write Muhammad's story. What do you need the pistol for? It's getting a little crazy here. Kip has only 3 weeks until his publisher's deadline to immerse himself in the mind of Muhammad, who, like Kip, is black, queer, and other. The similarities don't end there. Both their lives have been deeply affected by their confrontations with whiteness, homophobia, their upper crust education, and their white romantic partners. As Kip immerses himself in his writing Muhammad's story, and then Muhammad himself begins to speak to him, and his life becomes a portal into Kip's own memories and psyche. Greenland seamlessly conjures two distinct yet overlapping worlds where the past mirrors the present, and the artist's journey transforms into a quest for truth that offers a world of possibility. Electric and unforgettable, David Santos Donaldson's tour de force excavates the dream of white assimilation and the foibles of interracial relationship, and not only the legacy of a literary giant, but literature itself. I want to read this right now. Who do I have to call to get a copy? Because this sounds breathtaking. Oh, I can't wait to read that. There's a mosquito. on my light. Okay. Next, we have A Trail of Crab Tracks by Patrice Nagangang. I can read. I promise I can read. I promise. So it says, for the first time, Nithap flies across the world to visit his son, Tanu, in the United States. After countless phone calls and transatlantic silences, he has agreed to leave Bangui, the city in western Cameroon, where he has always lived, where he has became a doctor, and despite himself a rebel, where he fell in love and where his children were born, where illness extends his stay. His son finds an opportunity to unravel the history of the mysterious man who raised him, following the trail of crab tracks to discover the truth of his father and his country. As at last Nithap's throat clears and his voice rises, and he drifts back in time to tell his son a story that is burned into his memory and into the land he left behind. He speaks about the civil war that tore Cameroon apart, about the great man who lived and died, about his soldiers, his martyrs, and his great loves. As the tale unfolds, Tanu listens to his father tell the history of his family and the prayer of the blood-soaked land. From New Jersey to Bamalaki country, voices mingle, the borders of time dissolve, and generations merge. A Trail of Crab Tracks, the third part of a... Oh, it's a third part of a trilogy by Patrice Nagang, the award-winning author, creates an epic war, inheritance, and desire of the relentless essential struggle to freedom. Oh, I'm gonna have to look this up because this sounds good. That sounds really good. And I love a good historical fiction. I also, because I yearn for it a lot in my waking life, I love books where the elders are telling stories. I used to love asking my grandmother and my grandfather questions about their youth and about their life. I actually wish that I could have done it more. I love that kind of stuff. So I'm gonna have to look into the other books because now I'm interested. Now I am interested. So next we have Off Script by Ashley Marie. I believe this is a romance. Y'all know that's not really my tea. But it says, Jada Berkeley's acting career is finally heating up after an on-set romance with her ex ruined her last job on a popular TV show. When she gets a second chance with a desirable supporting role in a hot new romantic comedy, Jada's determined not to let on-set politics or her offset ex get in the way again. She's prepared, polished, professional, and she's going to knock their socks off. Yes, mamas, get into it. She got this. Still, despite Jada's best efforts to keep her head down, she accidentally walks in on leading man and notorious leading man Tristan Maxwell cheating on his latest fling. My God, today. An intense and embarrassing showdown on set ensues. Of course, there are no secrets in Hollywood, and where their confrontation makes its way to the biggest gossip site in the world, it has consequences for both of their careers. I bet you they're gonna fall in love at the end of it. I bet you. That sounds like it's gonna be a cute story. Okay, next we have After the Lights Go Out. This one is by John Verschere, I believe. If y'all can hear my mother, I apologize. She's on the phone. So it says Xavier Scarecrow Wallace, a mixed race MMA fighter on the wrong side of 30. What's the wrong side of 30? Is facing the fight of his life. Xavier can no longer deny that he's losing his battle with chronic traumatic encephalomyelitis, CTE, or pugilistic dementia. Through the fog of memory loss, migraines, and paranoia, Xavier does his best to stay in shape by training at the Philadelphia gym owned by his cousin manager. It says cousin come manager. Shot, a retired champion boxer whom his name is Shot. He wasn't shot. His name is Shot. A retired champion boxer to whom Xavier owes an unpayable debt. Xavier makes ends meet while he waits for the call that will reinstate him after a year-long suspension by teaching youth classes at Shot's gym and by living rent-free in the house of his white father, whom Xavier was forced to commit to a nursing home. The progress of Sam Wallace's in-age Alzheimer's has revealed his latent racism, and Xavier finally gains insight into why his black mother left the family years ago. As a black lady, why would you leave your black baby with a racist white man? Maybe she didn't have a choice. Maybe he threatened her with death. That's what we're gonna go with, because that's the only way. And even still, you would have to kill me dead if you think that I'm gonna leave my baby with a racist. Child boo. Then Xavier is offered a chance at redemption, a last-minute high-profile comeback fight. If he can get himself back in the game, he'll be able to clear his name and begin to pay off Shot. With his memory in shreds and his life crumbling around, can Xavier hold on to the force he needs to survive? John Verscher, author of the Edgar and Anthony Award-nominated 3/5, offers a gripping, psychologically astute and explosive tour de force about race, the entertainment, and healthcare in America, all of which got issues. That sounds interesting. I don't know if I'll read it, but that sounds interesting. I'll probably buy it. I really like the cover. I'll probably buy it. Now, speaking of covers that I like, Last Summer on State Street by Toya Wolf. Can we get into the colors, okay? Can we get into the children playing in the corner? Get into it. Even when we lose it all, we find strength to rebuild. Amen. That sounds like a tattoo. Felicia Fifi Stevens is living with her loving mother and older teenage brother, whom she adores, in building 4950 of Chicago's Robert Taylor Homes. It's the summer of 1999, and her high-rise is next in line to be torn down by the Chicago Housing Authority. She, with the devout Precious Brown and Stasia Buchanan, daughter of a gangster disciple Queen Pen, form a tentative trio. For a brief moment, carve out of themselves a simple life of double dutch and innocence. But when Fifi welcomes a mysterious new friend, Tanya, into their fold, the dynamic shifts, upending the lives of all four girls. As their beloved neighborhood falls down around them, so too do their friendships and structures of the four girls' family. Fifi must make a painful decision of whom she can trust and whom she must let go. Decades later, as she remembers the fateful summer just before her home was demolished, her life uprooted and community forever changed, Fifi tries to make sense of the grief and the fraught bounds that still haunt her and attempts to reclaim the love that never left. I want to read this immediately. Sign me up. Give me the book now. I would like to read it. Next, we have Belle Green. And just based on this cover, I feel like this is going to be about a woman that is passing. I don't know. But it's by Alexandra Lapierre. So it says, New York in the 1900s, a young girl fascinated by rare books defies all odds and becomes the director of one of the country's most prestigious private libraries. It belongs to the magnate J.P. Morgan and a darling of the international aristocracy and one of the city's richest men. Flamboyant, brilliant, beautiful, Belle is among New York society's most sought-after intellectuals. She also has a secret. Although she looks white, she is African American, the daughter of a famous Black activist who sees her desire to hide her origins as the consummate betrayal. What I say, I'm always gonna know when somebody is really Black. It's like a talent. Torn between histories, ineluctable imperatives, and the freedom to belong to the society of her choosing. Belle's drama, which plays out in a violently racist America, is one that resonates forcefully even today. The fruits of years of research and interviews, Alexander Leper's magnificent novels recounts the struggles, victories, heartbreaks of a woman who is free, determined, daring, and fully alive. I think that's going to be good. I think also it will add to the conversation about having to code switch and what that is like, because that's basically what passing is. It's code switching just with your skin. I don't know why my dog is yelling. Next, we have Horse by Geraldine Brooks. So it says, Kentucky, 1850, an enslaved groom named Janet and a bay fowl forge a bond of understanding that will carry the horse to record-setting victories across the South. When the nation erupts in civil wars, a young artist who has made his name on paintings of the racehorse takes up arms for the Union. On the perilous night, he reunites with the stallion and his groom, very far from the glamour of any racetrack. New York City, 1954, Martha Jackson, a gallery owner celebrated for taking risks on edgy contemporary painters, becomes obsessed with 19th century equestrian oil painting of mysterious provenance. Washington, D.C., 2019, Jess, a Smithsonian scientist from Australia, and Theo, a Nigerian-American art historian, find themselves unexpectedly connected through their shared interest in the horse. One studying the stallion's bones for clues of his power and endurance, the other uncovering a lost history of the unsung Black horsemen who were critical to his racing success. Based on the remarkable true story of the record-breaking thoroughbred Lexington, Horse is a novel of art, science, love, obsession, and our unfinished reckoning with racism. Oh, that sounds so good. I want to read that because it's a lot of stuff in there that I didn't know. I'm intrigued. Next, we have Lucky. She looked like either she see something that she ain't got no business, or she minded somebody else's. I guess that's the same thing. I don't know. Or she trying to get out. She trying to sign to somebody like, help me. So, Etta believes she was born lucky. She believes that if she can save enough money, she and Ola can finally marry and buy a house. Willing to chance it all, she quietly begins to make money on an online gambling site until she begins losing. Soon she has secretly lost their entire savings. Luckily, Etta has a friend on the site, a friend who has recently won big. Perhaps she can persuade him to give her a loan until she wins the money back. What could possibly go wrong? Lucky is about chance, fortune, and twist of fate. It examines societal factors that can turn lives upside down, from the increasingly popular online gambling to migration and the movement of people. Ultimately, Lucky is a book that examines the risks we all take to survive. This deep dive into gambling addiction packs a huge emotional punch. Girl. Next, we have, this one is called on rotation, and it says, for fans of Grey's Anatomy and 7 Days in June, that would be me. It's me. Hi. So, Ghanaian American Angela Pia has checked off all the boxes for the perfect immigrant daughter. Enroll in an elite medical school, snag a suitable lawyer, doctor, engineer boyfriend, surround herself with a gaggle of successful and or loyal friends. But then it quickly falls apart. Her boyfriend dumps her. She bombs the most important exam of her medical career, and her best friend pulls away. And her parents, whose approval seems to hinge on how closely she follows the path they choose, are a lot less proud of their daughter. It's a quarter-life crisis of epic proportions. Angie, who has always faced her problems by working twice as hard to get half as far, is at a loss. Suddenly, she begins to question everything. Her career choice, her friendships, even why she's attracted to men who don't love her as much as she loves them. Baby, because when you start actually dating men that actually like you, your life will change. Stop ignoring them red flags, okay? I know you saying that they magenta, but really they is red. They are maroon, girl. Just get you a man that actually like you, sis. And I know sometimes they be ugly, but just be patient, okay? All right. And just when things couldn't get more complicated, enter Ricky. Brilliant, thoughtful, sexy, and most importantly, seems to see Angie for who she is instead of who she can represent. She just did what I said to do. Unfortunately, he's also got Wasteman practically tattooed on his forehead. Didn't I just say all of this? And Angie's done chasing mirages of men, or so she thinks. For someone who's always been in control, Angie realizes that there is one thing she can't plan: matters of the heart. Girl, listen, he gonna look a little, you know, he not gonna be what you got in your head, but it's gonna work out. Next, we have the Ballot of Perilous Graves. We talked about this one in, I think, the video that I did about sci-fi books and fantasy, I believe. So, music is magic in this vibrant and imaginative debut novel set in a fantastical version of New Orleans, where a battle for the city's soul brews between two young mages, a vengeful wrath, and a powerful song. If you want to hear more about that one, you can watch that other video. We're just going to go on to the next. Here we have the Final Strife. Red is the blood of the elite, of magic, of control. Blue is the blood of the poor, of workers, of the resistant. Clear is the blood of the slaves, of the crushed, of the invisible. Silent dreams of the days growing up in the resistance, being told she would spark a revolution that would free the empire from the red-blooded ruling class's tyranny. That spark was exhausted the day she watched her family murdered before her eyes. Honor has been told she's nothing, no one, a disappointment by the only person who matters, her mother, Chabu, the most powerful ruler in the empire. But when Silent and Honor meet, a fire burns between them that could consume the kingdom and their hearts. Hassa moves through the world unseen by upper classes, so she knows what it means to be invisible. But invisibility has its uses. It can hide the most dangerous of secrets that can reignite a revolution. When she joins forces with Silent and Honor, together these grains of sand will become a storm. I want to read that. It's giving witches steeped in gold, but more. It's giving I don't know, it's giving very much fantasy that we've read before, but better, but different. I want to read that. Okay. Next, we have American Royalty. This obviously is a fantasy. So it says sexy driven rapper Danielle Duchess Nelson is on the verge of signing a deal that'll make her one of the richest women in hip hop. Most importantly, it'll grant her control over her life, something she's craved for years. But an incident with a rising pop star has gone viral, unfairly putting her deal in jeopardy. Concerned about her image, she's instructed to work on generating some positive publicity or else. I wonder what that's like for rappers and like people in the y'all know what I'm trying to say, in the thing, in the public eye. Oops, I lost the thing. Okay, here we go. A brilliant professor and reclusive royal, Prince Jameson prefers life out of the spotlight, only leaving his ivory tower to attend weddings or funerals. But with the Queen's children involved in one scandal after another, the Parliament questioning the viability of the monarchy, the Queen is desperate. In a quest for good press, she pushed Jameson in charge of a tribute concert in her late husband's honor. One, out of his death and resentful of being called to service, he takes the advice of a student. After all, what's more appropriate for a royal concert than a performer named Duchess? Too late, Jameson discovers the American rapper is popular, sexy, raunchy, and not what the Queen wanted. Although he's having an entirely different reaction, Danny knows this is a good exposure she needs to submit her deal. And it doesn't hurt that the royal running things is fine as hell. Thrown together, they give in to the explosive attraction flaring between them. That should be interesting. Next, we have Deli Weds. I've also talked about this in a video about some female authors that you may or may not know. So this one is about some friends and their lives. So they meet up again at one of their son's wedding, or no, one of their daughter's weddings, and try to reconcile their life. It's very much giving Waiting to Exhale, but Africa. You can go and watch that video if you want to know more about that book. Next, we have The Scent of Burnt Flowers. And we're almost done, guys. This video is long as jacks. Okay, so it says, when the windshield of his Chevy Impala shatters in a dark diner parking lot of Alabama, Melvin moves without thinking. A split-second reaction marrows in his bones from the days of war, but this time it is in the safety of his fiancée Bernadette at stake. Impulse keeps them alive, and yet they flee with blood on their hands. What is life like now that they are fugitives? Oh, snap. Pack passports, empty bank accounts, set their old life on fire. The couple disguise themselves as a pastor and a reluctant pastor's wife who's hiding a secret from her fiance. With a persistent FBI agent on their trail, they travel to Ghana to seek help of Melvin's old college friend, who happens to be the country's embattled president, Kwame Nkrumah. The couple's chance encounters with Ghana's most beloved high life musician, Kwame Quaisens, who's on his way to perform for the president, sparks a journey full of suspense, lust, magic, and danger as Nkrumah's regime crumbles around them. What was meant to be a fresh start quickly spirals into chaos. I want to read this right now. I want to read it right now. I want to read it. I want to read it. I want to read it. That sounds so good. Oh, that sounds so good. Next, we have The Wife Before. The Wife Before. So, Samira Wilder has never had it easy, and when her latest lousy job goes south, things only promise to get harder until she unexpectedly meets a man who will change her life forever. Renowned pro golfer Roland Graham is wealthy, handsome, and caring, and Samira is dazzled. Best of all, he seems to understand her better than anyone has ever. And though their relationship moves a bit fast, when Roland proposes, Samira accepts. She even agrees to relocate to his secluded Colorado mansion. Now, that's what you don't do. I don't care what the man say. I don't care how good it is. I don't care what he looked like. I don't care how much money he got. You don't never let nobody's raggedy son, even if he a good man, you don't let nobody's son move you away. Secluded is never in. No. Y'all not going nowhere where he got a whole bunch of family and you ain't got no family. Because why he don't want you to be close to your family? Huh? No. No, you don't do that. That's how you end up dead. Okay? After all, there's nothing to keep her in Miami, and the mansion clearly makes him happy. Soon they are married amid a meteor firestorm, and Samira can't wait to make a fresh start as the second Mrs. Graham. Samira settles into the mansion blissfully happy until she discovers long hidden journals belonging to Ronald's late wife, Melanie, who died in a tragic accident that probably wasn't an accident. With each dusty page, Samira comes to realize that perhaps it was not an accident at all, that perhaps her perfect husband is not so perfect as she thought, even as her trust in Ronald begins to dwindle. A shadow falls over her marriage and she begins to fear for her own life. Samira is determined to uncover the truth of Melanie's troubled last days, but even good wives should know the truth is not always what it seems. She gonna mess around and die on accident. And then last but not least, we have Playing Their Game by Kiki Swanson. So it says, no one suspects. Never one to play by any rules. Yoshi Lomax is determined to make good at an internship with one of Manhattan's most prestigious law firms. She's being monitored by the brilliant twin brother legal lights, who are her parents' friends, and with their unexpected knack for helping the city's wealthy, powerful clients finagle their way out of major trouble. Even she is surprised at how brilliant her future shines. No one will tell until Yoshi discovers the firm uses any means necessary to get their clients off, including kidnapping, life-destroying scandal, and murders. The dark heart of the company is a super secret society fueled by dangerous desires that has no limits and no way out, even for the ever resourceful, ethically dubious Yoshi. This is bad news she wants no part of. Sounds interesting. I've never heard of this author, but I like a good thriller. So that sounds interesting. Again, all of these books will be uploaded to the site. You can go and order yourself a copy if you so see fit. Let me know in the comments what book you plan to read, or which ones you are going to order, or which one sounds super interesting to you, because I would like to know. And if no one has told you, I love you. You are kind, you are smart, you are important. Bye, guys.